We just had the halving. It happened with little fanfare, little change. And the question is, where's Bitcoin going? It was 70,000 or thereabouts, a month or so ago. It dropped down to below 60. I bought more Bitcoin. How are you feeling about things? What are you seeing as the future here?
Yeah, I think so. We have four people at ARK who are working on crypto generally, one dedicated to Bitcoin on-chain analytics.
Mhm.
And judging by those, we are, we believe, halfway through this bull market. And halfway doesn't mean we're halfway through the price increase because, at the end of a bull market, prices tend to go parabolic. So we have no idea where that, but we feel very strongly just based on-chain analytics, looking at them versus the short 10-year history, 10, a little bit more than that history, that we're halfway through the bull market. What's very interesting, since the ETFs were launched in January, many people think, oh, all right, the boom, and we had we've had a very nice showing, David versus Goliath.
Hmm.
We're in the fight, and very happy
Congratulations.
where we are. Yeah, but not one major what we call them wirehouses, like Morgan Stanley, UBS, Wells
Hmm.
Fargo, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. Not one has put Bitcoin on its platform yet, a Bitcoin ETF. They're
Mm.
all doing their due diligence. And I think what's going to happen is within the next few months, one will, and it may be not the big ones, it may be an independent RIA like LPL. They tend to
Mhm.
move a little more quickly. Once you get one with a spot Bitcoin ETF on its platform, the others will fall in line pretty
It
quickly.
was so
So
funny. My mom was like, "Where do I put my retirement money?" I said, "Put it in a Bitcoin ETF." And I said, "Who manages for you?" She says, "Merrill Lynch." Let me talk to your Merrill Lynch person. We're not allowed to do that. And I'm like, "Mom, change who manages your money, please." You know, um, uh,
She any of the big ones, she's not going to
mhm,
have any better luck. So,
yeah,
but you can go to an online broker, Robinhood and others,
yes.
and they tend to be a little bit more adventurous.
Cathie, when you were on stage with me at Abundance 360 last, you were saying you saw $1 million per coin price. Are you still there
Yes,
by 2030?
yes, 2030. So our bull
Hmm.
is over 1.5 million. Our base is in the $650,000 range, so about tenfold from here by 2030. And there are three big building blocks. Institutional is one,
Hmm.
and I would put the it sounds like retail distribution, but these are institutional decision makers at B of A, Merrill Lynch, and so forth.
Yeah.
So that's one. The second is this is a replacement for gold. So we assume that it's going to subsume 50% of the gold, what would be the gold market, especially as younger
Yes.
people are looking to diversify. And then it is an insurance policy. In emerging markets, I just visited El Salvador and had the pleasure of meeting
Mm.
the top officials there, and they are blazing a trail, making it legal tender, and giving their populations or showing the way for other countries to give their
What a brilliant
population.
move.
Yes, it is a brilliant. There are two.
What a
El
brilliant move.
Salvador, President Bukele
Hmm.
is going after two big ideas, and we're talking about them: AI and Bitcoin. And my mentor and friend Art Laffer, who joined me on this trip, I think is going to be working with that government. It's only a $30 billion economy. Can you believe that?
Wow.
And
That's
here we're
crazy.
talking. And they're being very progressive. They're putting in tax policies that are going to encourage innovation. So I think that's a very big idea. Think about that. El Salvador, the entire country, 30 billion,
Wow.
and
Time to buy
NVIDIA's
some real
3
estate in El
trillion.
Salvador.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Honestly, and I wish other nation states would follow suit here. What an incredible gift to your populace to
And
actually provide them a future. Yeah.
Argentina is moving in this direction. We've talked to the economics ministers there. They're not ready to go the Bitcoin route in the way that President Bukele is, but they're moving in that direction. They're thinking. They're
Yeah.
thinking about it. And then the other insurance policy is for anyone, but and in high net worth individuals, but anyone as a protection against confiscation of wealth, whether that's inflation
Yeah.
or outright confiscation because of corruption in emerging
And that
markets.
that's the story of South and Central America, unfortunately,
Mhm.
and an important one. Um, are you tracking anything that would disrupt Bitcoin? Are you concerned at all? I mean, U.S. politics are interesting. We just saw a rather shaky presidential debate. We'll see what goes there. I don't want to talk about it, but
Okay.
but you know, it's interesting. I was meeting with a minister out of Saudi Arabia, and who was telling me in I don't want to say I don't think in confidence, but he was saying that his understanding was the U.S. really wanted to um, block the continued growth and proliferation of Bitcoin, and I can't imagine that that's possible anymore. Do you?
Yeah, it's we don't think it's possible, and it's so interesting how surreptitiously Bitcoin really is got into the hands of 50 to 60 million Americans and has become an election year issue. In fact, for many
Amazing.
voters, for many voters, it is the election issue. And that is why, for the Financial Innovation Technology Act of the 21st century, so FIT 21, was able to attract 76 Democrats. I think when the Republicans basically turned this into an election year issue, whether accepting campaign donations in crypto or saying that they would protect the right for self custody. That's a big one. That's a very big one for Bitcoin, and we're very much aligned. Even though we have an ETF, and that could be a centralization vector, we think both are true. Self custody for the early adopters and those who learn more about the ecosystem, but then just getting people into understanding what this is, how powerful this movement is. That is the role of a spot Bitcoin ETF, because once you own a spot Bitcoin ETF, you want to learn even more about it.
Yeah,
You'll want to understand the
it's
risk
the
profile, the return profile.
it's the easy button for those of
Mhm.
you who want to get into Bitcoin. Um,
Yes.
uh, your predictions or your team's predictions for 2025. Where do you see Bitcoin going?
Yeah, we tend not to do 1 year, but if we're in the middle of the bull market, I think the next spur is
Mhm.
going to be the platforms putting the spot Bitcoin ETF on it. So,
Yeah.
and I do think that will happen this year. We were told by some of our our prospective clients, uh, the platforms themselves, that they would need 6 to 9 months to evaluate it. So here
Mhm.
we are entering the 6 month. So I would expect in the fall, one or more will put put the a spot Bitcoin ETF, or many of them, on their platforms, and I think that will be the next swoosh. Then,
Yeah.
it's
All they have to
interesting.
do.
I remember in
Yeah.
I think it was the last halving, many people, we went through the halving, and everybody waited for a pop, and it didn't
Yes.
happen. Well, first of all, it didn't happen because there's a lot of anticipatory buying into it. But I've watched it kind of gestate, shall we say, and then all of a sudden. So those two could coincide in the fourth quarter of this year.
Yeah.
It could be pretty exciting.